Guys, it's dead. So dead. Again. No lines anywhere. We're walking straight into Matterhorn? What? Lots of that, plus our thoughts on the Tomorrowland announcement from D23. It's our State of Disneyland report, and this is Fresh Baked. That's the thing about Disneyland on a hot day, is that the show goes on. You still get that same magic out here at Town Square, walking up Main Street. You still get that same feeling, even though it's presently 89 degrees right now as we head up to Main Street at 11:15 in the morning, on our way to a 97 degree high today. It was 98 yesterday. So I would say forgive Disneyland perhaps if the people don't show up today like they did on Friday. We were here on Friday for Halloween, and I was very impressed with the turnout. And it was still a hot day then too. It was low 90s, but people were here in droves. Once they got to the like 5 o'clock or so, they started showing up like crazy. It was really fun, really amazing night that we had here on opening night Halloween. But I will say that we are on track to repeat our performance from last year. Something that we've been talking about, or keeping track of for the past few weeks, is how things are relating to last year. You know, to kind of get a measuring stick. You know, how is Disney doing? I like to know. I like to know how Disney's doing. I want to know if they're doing better or worse. You know, people say, David, why do you obsess about crowds? Because I don't know. I live for this. I live for crowds, queues, and things like that. And I'd like to know. I want to feel good. I want to feel good about Disneyland and how people feel about the parks, and I want everybody to be happy. Parking, you know, the guests and the park. So that's why I focus on that, and I'm hoping that will be the case, that we find a very happy, energetic crowd here in spite of the 88 degree temperatures. And judging by what I'm seeing so far just on Main Street, it actually looks like a fairly decent turnout, although when I first got here, crowds were pretty sparse. I found a lot of open pavement on Main Street and the Hub, etc. But this is not bad. This is actually feeling perhaps even a little bit busier than things were this time last year. And with that, I want to thank you guys for joining us. For those of you who are... Hey guys, how are you? He's not new. For those of you who are new to the channel or new to the format, we are going to take a complete tour. As soon as I get my camera in focus or in frame, we're going to take a complete tour around the park. Every single land, every single attraction. We're going to talk about what's new as we arrive at certain destinations. We're going to look at some crowds. We're going to look at queues. We're going to do some go, no go science. Hopefully get something to eat. Try to stay cool. Do our best not to melt out here. But by the end of this hour plus, the one thing you will know more than anything else is what is the state of Disneyland right now. As we head towards Adventureland, I will say that I took a peek at one of those digital tip boards they have over there by Plaza Inn, and the wait times looked rather inviting. Not gonna lie, they looked rather inviting. I think I saw a 35-minute wait time for Rise of the Resistance. And I just got started. I'm already not tired. Okay, let's get just like the Straw Hatters out there and the omnibus driver, the show must go on. We shall endure. Let's go to Adventureland. Scrim and Scaffold are still up. Over there at the Adventureland Bazaar, still doing a little bit of paint polish. But the crowds here are pretty light. Very, very sedate vibe here though at Adventureland. I'm hearing it's because Jungle Cruise is closed. I was saying it sounds so quiet, but there's no sound coming from that direction, which is why the boats, the traffic, etc. Jungle Cruise, which is rare. You guys, that's really rare to see Jungle Cruise closed, but yeah, there's no traffic out here in front of this attraction. Oh my gosh, wonder. No wonder. Hi, what's up, guys? No wonder Adventureland is so quiet and sedate. Indiana Jones is closed also. Looks like they had one of their breakdowns, although I haven't seen any guests come out, so perhaps this could be opening soon. Wow, okay, we're 0 for 2, you guys. Can't do any recon. Can't do any science if there's no queue. 0 for 2. So you know what that means? That means that Haunted Mansion and Pirates should be bazonkers right now, because anybody who would have been on the Jungle Cruise or Indiana Jones needs to be somewhere. They've got to go somewhere, right? Perhaps Pirates, perhaps Haunted Mansion. Those are the two nearest. Nope. Nope. Not even in the least is there a crowd here at Pirates of the Caribbean. It says 20 minutes, but come on. Come on. There's no queue out here. There's no queue. There's no queue at the bridge, obviously. There's no queue out here along the rail. No, I mean, there's, oh my gosh, that's 10 if it's anything at all. That's 10. There's a look from above at Pirates, which, yeah, man, they're just gonna be right in there. That's the whole, this is the back of the queue right there. Incredible. They're just gonna go around the thingy, Mojoppers, across the candy cane forest and into the building, and they're gonna be great. They're gonna be fine. Maybe not the candy cane forest, the rum lane. How about rum lane? How about that? Well, I saw the rum gone. But for real, look at this. I mean, people come to Disneyland on a rainy day. They come to Disneyland on a rainy day to find light crowds because everybody stays home. Yeah, but it's raining. You know, it's like you can't really, a bunch of the rides are closed and you don't really want to be outside and you get everything gets wet. It's Disneyland on a hot day. That's a win. And there's so many more of those here at Disneyland than there are rainy days, that's for sure. I'm not ready to call this a dead day, like, you know, because it's the park's fault. I think this is the heat talking. And not because it's hot. It's actually kind of bearable right now, 88. But it's going to, in a matter of a couple hours, we're going to be into the 90s, low 90s, and then by the time we're done with the show, it'll be 97 degrees. Really, I can't take my eyes off it. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this Pirates queue right now. But we're gonna keep going. There's the meet and greet for Jack and Sally. We waited an hour Halloween day, and the queue was about as big as it is right now. So there you go. There's some recon for you guys. If you want to meet Jack and Sally, or actually sometimes, most times, it's gonna be just Jack, as it is right now. I'm seeing only Jack, who was, by the way, fantastic. One of the greatest meet and greets I'll ever have. It is tremendous. But anyway, that exact queue is what we waited in. It was just under an hour, 57 minutes if memory serves. So there you go. It'll be that way, guys. It'll be that way for most of the season, all the way up until Halloween, most likely. And even if it's a hot day like it is today, people love meeting Jack and Sally. You know what? Let's go check out. It's only 11:30 something, I think, right now. 11:31. So it's a little early for lunch, although I would definitely be eating lunch right now, but I'm gonna go inside Tiana's palace to see literally nobody in here. Nobody. Oh, there we go. We got one guest getting food right now. One. Wow. Nobody. It's a shame we can't sit in here because it's nice and cool. And out here, lots and lots of tables. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables right there. That's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's, oh my gosh. Uncountable number. And all of them in the shade. Those are all in the shade. The heat. I talk about call to action a lot on this show and in our reports, etc. Wait times. And like, if the board is saying it's 30 minutes for Indiana Jones, that's a call to action. Get your butts to Indiana Jones, it's time. Or if it's 90 minutes, it's a call to action to stay the hell away. Don't go to Indiana Jones. Hi guys. 90 degrees here at Disneyland is a call to action to stay home, I guess. Surely we can't expect the same thing for Haunted Mansion though. It's the Halloween season, surely they're gonna have something to say about that. They're gonna show up for this, right? Surely? Yes, dead serious. And don't come back shortly. 35 minutes is the posted wait time, but the queue is out here. How are they calling this 35? Okay, so the back of the queue is out the threshold. And they are in the, oh my, they're inside of the garden. And they're in the garden. They're definitely in Leota's garden. And they're also in the greenhouse. If you see guests in the greenhouse, that's a bad sign. Normally, I would say normally, but you know, this being Halloween, you just better be getting used to that. You better be getting used to waiting in the greenhouse during the Halloween and Christmas, well, the whole holiday season, really. But still, I'm shocked that they're calling it 35 minutes. That's the kind of queue they would call it 45, 50, probably. We haven't even looked at Lightning Lane yet. Seriously, it is hilarious. It is hilarious. They see me coming. They see me coming and they change that son of a bitch. What'd I say, 50 minutes, right? Like, oh crap, the fresh baked guy's here. Fix the board, fix the board. The good news is that Lightning Lane is also apparently showing up, although this isn't bad. But this is more than what you normally might find. There's a steady flow of guests coming into this queue, certainly. And I don't see a lot of guests along the pet cemetery, so you're not getting too much interference right now from Lightning Lane, but you will later. The later it gets in this day, the worse standby is going to get. If you want to hit Haunted Mansion on standby during the holidays, and I mean from now until Christmas, do it in the first 3 hours or so. You don't have to rope drop it. You don't have to rope drop it. You can still get a really good wait time at like 9 or 10 a.m. probably. But do try to get in there before 11 at least. It's 11:30, so maybe 10:30. It's 11:30 now on a Monday. Oh my God, I'm dying. Yeah, if you're not going to use Lightning Lane, because it's just going to get worse today. This is one of the situations that, as the day progresses, it gets worse, because Lightning Lane, they're going to start. People are going to start reserving it, and you're going to get a huge backup, and then people are going to start turning it in at the end of the night, like we saw on Halloween night. Not only was the scanning queue out the threshold. Hi guys. Not only was the queue out the threshold, it came out here, along the rails, and towards Leota's gift shop back here. And I want to say we got in the queue right about here, right about where the scanners are, which actually they've cleared it all out. There's no queue now. So this is the time still, this is the time. But we slowly made our way into the Haunted Mansion on Friday night. It took us, I want to say, hi guys, I hope you're staying cool. It took us 8 minutes, if memory serves, just to get to the threshold, and another 12 minutes to get from here to the door, to the mansion door. So 20 minutes total, in Lightning Lane, mind you. 20 minutes total to get to the mansion door, and that was a bargain. Might have been, hi guys, might have been the best $28 I ever spent, 55 including Liz, because the standby wait time we had already been here for 14 hours, I think it was 14 hours. Standby was 110 minutes. Serious business Haunted Mansion is during the holidays. Meanwhile, more open spaces here en route to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which, thank goodness for anybody interested, is open. Although, again, gosh, just look. And this is Tiana's on a hot day. We should see a cute man, guys. You remember back in the day when Splash Mountain, the queue started back here? Like almost always, when you wanted to get into the Splash Mountain queue, it wrapped around the briar patch, came up the path, and the queue would run the length of this right here. And the back of the queue was usually over there by Leota's, but they didn't, because they didn't have a proper queue built like they do now. You guys remember that? Oh. Surely Tiana's is gonna have a bonkers queue today, right? Surely Tiana should be something like an hour. I mean, it looks bonkers. Well, not bonkers. It looks pretty crowded and busy right here. Guys, that's positively goable. That posted wait time says 40 minutes. 40. And they're not in Tiana's garden either. Everybody's got a garden. Leota's got a garden. Tiana's got a garden. If you see a queue, I don't care if it's hot or not, unless it's like a cold, rainy day. If you see, or if it's rope drop, if you see this space right here empty, that's a go. That's 100% a go. Matter of fact, they were expecting, because they've got the queue routing. They're sending guests around the garden. Come to Disneyland on a hot day and get discounts all over the place. And by the way, again, this is not a Disney thing. I mentioned earlier that I'd like to check the year before to see how things are doing comparatively. We experienced the exact same situation. I even looked at the reservation calendar. Everything is wide open today. No tickets are sold out. The Magic Keys are wide open. Oh, thank you guys, thank you. Magic Keys are wide open. Nope, there's no sold out dates at all right now. But that was the same situation last year. There was no sold out dates. So this is, and it was 88 by the way. I recall shooting it was on about 2 p.m. It was 88 last year, about this time. By the way, August at Disneyland, you can just count on it being hot as heck. Even Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I don't even know where the back of the queue is. They're walking straight in. They're making them go around the cart back there, but the back of the queue is somewhere inside because these guys are just coming right through. There it is. There's the back of the queue at the stairs. Guys, that's not even 40. I've timed this. That's more like 20, 25 maybe to the house, to the boat. No, just bring a little fan, bring a bottle of water that you can refill for free at various quick service locations, and you're good to go, man. It's easy peasy. Maybe not so much for Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore though. Man, it must be hot in those suits. My goodness. Let's go inside Louis' Critter Club. Check in on the merch situation here and whether or not they are over Tiana's as a brand for merch. It's busy in here because it's cool. The AC is nice. That's it right there. Still the same little 2 sections there of Tiana's merch. I thought I saw somewhere they were selling this stuff like on sale, a discount, but I don't see any discounts here. But otherwise, everything else in here is, you know, standard pins and stuff like that, Mickey ear or Minnie ears, and then Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh has moved in still. He's about the same ratio, same proportion as the last time he came through here of Winnie the Pooh versus Tiana's, which is mostly Winnie the Pooh. Which, by the way, I think I've said this before. Don't underestimate the power of Winnie the Pooh. You know, it depends on which graphic you look at, but the worst case, if you look up the most popular IPs in the world, you know, most valuable IPs in the world, you think stuff like Fresh Baked? Hi, how are you? Hold that thought as we observe quickly that they have wrapped everything. They've wrapped, is that new? Is that a new thing? Is it just for the season, or is that a new, everything, all this used to be unwrapped, which I like the way, I don't like it wrapped like this. Is that, did somebody, were words spoken? I wonder why they're doing this. If anybody could give us a heads up. But everything in this box is wrapped. Anyway, you would think, I don't know, like Star Wars, right? Marvel or something like that? No. No. The most valuable, hey, how are you? The most valuable IP in the world is Pokemon. Number 2 is Hello Kitty. And number 3 is Winnie the Pooh. More valuable, according to this graphic, more valuable than Mickey Mouse himself, which is number 4, I think. Can you believe that? Winnie the Pooh. So the fact that they didn't make a 100-acre wood here instead of Tiana's Bayou Adventure is actually kind of mystifying when you think about it. Like, why not make this whole thing the 100-acre wood? Go figure. Maybe it's because this ride actually is not all that popular. This is an easy walk down no matter when you get here, day or night, rain or shine, or rain or sun. It doesn't matter. This is always a walk on. So maybe they think that Winnie the Pooh actually couldn't fill. Well, actually, you could put anything in here and it would sell. You could put anything in that ride and it would be great. Maybe they could make a thrill ride out of the Winnie the Pooh. I'm gonna need somebody to help me out with that. Help me understand why they didn't make the 100-acre wood. It was just about synergy and merchandise and, you know, sales and stuff like that. If that was the goal, then Winnie the Pooh should have been the answer. With that, at exactly noon, boy, I'm doing this wrong, but actually it's not that busy today. But, with that, I'm going to stop over here at the Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree and get a little barbecue. Well, actually it's salad, but it's got some barbecue in it. And yeah, no action here at all. At the Hungry Bear Jamboree as well. Dead as disco. And normally it's the case where you can't find a table. Although tables are easier to find here because of the heat. Not all of them are as well shaded as others, but I should have no trouble at all back here where I usually sit. I should have no trouble at all. Well, I can confirm that lunch was indeed had at the Hungry Bear Barbecue. We did indeed get the barbecue salad. I didn't film it because my brother stopped by while we're having lunch, so I didn't film it. I hung out with him instead. But let me just say it was delicious. It's a fine alternative, a fine mix of of being kind of somewhat healthy. You got the salad, although there's a lot of dressing. They gave me too much dressing. And I got the beef brisket, slightly fatty but still delicious. Get the barbecue sauce, the traditional regular barbecue sauce, and of course, got that side of baked beans. And as we head into Galaxy's Edge, no doubt we're gonna find a very agreeable queue here. You know, for one thing, that you're not gonna get Section 4 when they don't even bother putting up the stanchions. But I could see an empty Section 3 right here. And I can also see an empty Section 2 up ahead. Looks like they are just in Section 1, which is a very agreeable situation for those of you looking to get into rides. This is a go. That right there is a go. Hi guys. It says posted 45 minutes up there on the board, which you can't really tell because it's frame rate. Yeah, this is going to be that kind of day, you guys. Every attraction we get to is going to be a situation like this. The Haunted Mansion really is going to be the only thing that's going to put up a fight, I have a feeling. As you know, what would be really awesome right now, what would be really refreshing on such a hot day, Tatooine sunset. Except all we get, moof juice and mellow juice. How's it going, David? What's up? Pooh. I sense a very light crowd. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Do you know how hard it is to get a table out here? Do you know how full this area is on a regular basis? How impossible it is to get a seat? Oh my goodness gracious. It is 1:08. 1:08 in the afternoon. Look at that. Smuggler's Run says 5 minutes. Would you look at that? Wow. I mean, no matter how prepared I might have been, considering, you know, we knew the heat was here, no matter how much research I do in comparing things to previous years and saying, okay, expect this. Still, when I see it, every single time, I'm just absolutely astonished by the lack of humans in this space. It's just incredible. There's hardly anybody here. I'm tempted. I don't really feel like riding today, but I'm tempted to see how far we can get. I have to think we would get all the way to the Hondo room. At least the AC is on in here. I mean, there's a few standby guests moving in there. Often we even see nothing there. That means there should be at least some kind of collection of guests. Just the people in front of us should be collecting at that mixed point with Lightning Lane at the Hondo room. Just gonna say I'm grateful that I didn't see any people using Lightning Lane. But man, I wish I could just talk to these people and just tell people, you know, you don't have to get Lightning Lane. Not for just today's not the day, first of all, which I get on the big picture. You may or may not, maybe you bought it in advance or something like that, but at least save it. You know, we're gonna walk into that queue in the exact same amount of time as it took those Lightning Lane guests to get there. I mean, actually, their path is shorter, so it might be, they might get there 45 seconds, a minute sooner than I would. But yeah, we're going all the way. We're going all the way. You know, when State of Disneyland gets to this point that the park is dead. You know, when I take my camera into Smuggler's Run and get this far, it's dead. I'm gonna mess with everybody right now. Anybody who's looking at the window, I use this window that I'm at right now as like from the ground. I say, if there's people leaning up against that window, that's probably not a good sign. Doubtful though that anybody's looking up here at this window right now to see if they're standing or not. I have a feeling nobody's using that trick. But this is, yeah, man. It's a no Well, it is a go, but it's a no-go for guests in the park in general. Look at that. There's actually not even a collection right here. These guests that I'm passing are gonna walk straight into the Honda room. You know, there ought to be like an option. You know, because it's not they don't have to do the safety spiel like they do at Indiana Jones. Man, it's empty. You have to sit through the safety spiel whether or not it's empty. But here, there should be an option to like skip the Honda room. Which I guess you do if you go single rider. Now, the last 2 times I did this, where I came in here and I said, Smuggler's Run is dead, but on my way out, I encountered a bunch of guests. I am not encountering those guests this time. I have passed very few guests. There's one. And I've seen Smuggler's Run dead before. You know, like before closing, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, something like that, rope drop. But at 1:22 in the afternoon, I ain't never seen that. Wow. Go on a hot day, you guys. Never mind rainy days. Never mind February or January. Go in the middle of August at the hottest temperatures, and you'll find all the walk-ons you can eat. And a couple stormtroopers. I feel like we literally are on Tatooine right now with this desert heat. My gosh. I can't shut up. I can't shut up about this. Even in the shade, there's no guests here. And then this year, as we approach Fantasyland, this will be a classic pinch point. This is one of those spots where I always use as a measuring stick for busy, not busy, is how difficult it is to walk through this stretch and into Fantasyland Fantasyland proper. And obviously this is a delight. This is no problem whatsoever. Right here, this is it right here. This, see it? Wow. Can I even do any recon in here while I'm in Fantasyland? This is incredible. Let's see. Actually, that's a pretty reasonable queue for Pinocchios. That's still just 50, or 15, I should say. Wow. Wow. Okay. Snow White. Hi, guys. Snow White is nothing. Wow. It's not even half. I'm going to sneak in here real quick. It's not even half. What time is it? Okay. Here, it's 1:26. They're using maybe 1:26. I bet you we're back in the common area by, let me think, 2, 4, 5 minutes, by 1:31. We'll be back out there. We'll be back in that emptiness by 1:31. I noticed that I'm a lot sweater than I was before, and I looked at the, oh, and it's 95 now, 95, almost there, 95. 5:33 to the boat. We'll be out of here in 7.
Have an apple, dearie?
Nice and easy. So that was 5 minutes to the vehicle, 8 minutes out, and we're back in the common area 8 or 7 or 1:34. I forgot to account for the ride time, but we're back in action. And look at the, wow, Peter Pan. Peter freaking Pan. Look at nothing. You go straight into the primary outdoor bullpen, exterior bullpen. Hi guys. You just don't see this. You don't even see this at rope drop. At rope drop, the queue's down there. If you had waited, if you tried to rope drop Peter Pan today, you should have waited till 1:35 in the afternoon to get this brilliant looking queue. This is just lovely. Look at that. Toads? Looks dead to me. Yeah, look at that. That's the back of the queue right there. That is the back of the queue. The back of the queue is almost the door. Very little waiting for Dumbo. 10-minute posted, but they're making a U-turn. Oh my gosh, there's just one lane. That's it. It's one switchback. That's it. There is no U-turn. Well, there is a U-turn, yes. But there's no second lane of guests. It's just the one queue. Incredible. And then across the way, I don't even have to take you over to the Casey Jr. You're walking straight onto Casey Jr. actually. Or is that shut down? Looks like they're shut down. That's maintenance. Still though, that would have been a walk-on also. I mean, at this point, I gotta try to find something else to talk about. Did you guys see Halloween? Man, that was fun. Guys, we did more this year at Halloween than we have ever done in the past. Not because it was less busy, because it wasn't. It was actually more busy than it was last year by a lot, I should say. But we started earlier. Normally we start at like 4 or 5, sometimes 6. Friday we started, I think, just shy of 3 o'clock, and that gave us time to meet Jack and Sally. Well, Jack. we were going to meet Jack and Sally. Sally was there, but the queue was so long that they left and then came back. But when they came back, it was just Jack. I almost missed Alice in Wonderland. By the way, Matt Tea Party is indeed still dead. I almost missed Alice in Wonderland. Look at that. They're just kind of in this chain out here. That's actually kind of busy compared to what else we've seen out here. That's kind of busy, but still nowhere near what it normally is. That just reminded me. I don't know why. I'm walking through here next to Matterhorn in Fantasyland, and I'm thinking, Tomorrowland. You know, D23 just happened. D23 just happened, then it was Halloween. I've had a lot in my head, but we haven't had a chance to talk about Tomorrowland and the announcements at D23 because the next stop we made was at DCA after D23. But guys, we have a conversation to be had about Tomorrowland, which so hang on to that. We gotta finish Fantasyland and Toontown first. Which, by the way, Fantasyland, historic land. It's a literal walk-on. Those guests are sorted for a boat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your second boat, tops. Second boat. This look at this. Look at it is 2:34. Wow, incredible. Very little waiting here at Tea Party. That's actually just one rotation right there. They'll be in the next. They didn't even fill this one. Empty, 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 empty. 5 empties. There are 5 empties out there. Bring that up because I want to reiterate again that I don't think this is a product of people choosing not to come to Disneyland for whatever reasons. I think it's just, this is the heat. I asked that question 4 weeks ago, and I didn't think it was the heat. This week, this time, it is the heat. Because I am more certain than ever that people are, they're back in the Disneyland business. I was just so impressed with how busy it was and how energetic the crowds were and how like fun everybody was just having so much fun. And it was really great. We got a lot done. Thank goodness we got Lightning Lane. We got to go on Monsters After Dark, and we did Haunted Mansion, and everything was just, you know, even though it was a grind because we were there for almost 16 hours, 14, 15 hours almost. It was the easiest 15 hours I think I've ever done. And by the way, when I say 15, half of that is spent is recon mode. Half of that is me literally, I march. I was leaving Liz. Liz was shadowing me on that day. I was leaving her in the dust. She's like, I want to go look at this. I'm like, bye, I'm working. Small World, 1:41 in the afternoon. And there's no wait. Not that there should be a long one here, but there's no wait anywhere. You're going straight to the boat. Wow. Look at that, empty, 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 empty. There's so little to do here that, you know, we're gonna wind up beating the hour. Normally we spend at least an hour, hour 10 minutes, hour 15 doing this show. We might not even hit that hour. Yeah. You know what I could do? I could talk about merch. I could talk about this awesome shirt that I'm wearing. This is our new uniform that I wear when we do our State of Disneyland reports. You can buy this shirt on our website, freshbakepresents.com. That and a lot of others. Go to freshbakepresents.com. Pick your shirt. Pick this one. Pick our the rope drop shirt, 4 Mountain Challenge. I think there's a Park Science shirt. There's a French fry shirt, Frygate. So many. Go to freshbakepresents.com. Find yourself a shirt. 1:40 is the current show time. It is 1:44 now, which means we should be at the very beginning of the Bluey show. Let's go see if people are showing up for this. It's a nice place to rest, get some shade, cool off a little bit, even though there's no AC at this theater. First time that we've ever come through here where we've seen this much seating. It's still doing pretty well given what we've seen throughout the park, but lots of available seating here. A whole section of seating here. Right? Row upon row of seating. Still, that's a good turnout. People coming here to get out of the elements. This is a good one. I was gonna say, look at the back of the queue, it's out there. No, it's not even, everybody's staying in the shade. They're not using the sunny part of the queue over here. Well done, folks. Well played. Surely things will still be crazy in Toontown. It always is. Ooh, oh, how far can we get into Roger Rabbit? You know, I haven't even looked at the tip board today. Haven't even looked at it. I bet you we get to the dip room. Let's take a quick tour of the little picnic area here, by the way. There's no shade, or very little shade, so it's not as comforting as it would normally be, I think. But it's sometimes hard to even take a rest in this spot. Meanwhile, up ahead at Roger Rabbit, hey guys, I'm seeing a posted 15-minute wait. I'm gonna pass right through these guys. There we go. Thank you. Posted 15. Okay, so there's a queue there. So we got that at least. I called the dip room. Okay, bouncer door. I can't see anything. I hope you guys can. Oh no. No. Oh my gosh. You guys, it's a walk-on. Holy smokes. Did you see what I said? That's the end of the queue that I was just looking at. You get a sneak peek at the end of the queue there. So it's not even the dip room. We're gonna go there. We just zoomed by Baby Herman. You just zoomed right by him. Saxophone guy's coming up. There's saxophone guy. We've made it to the dip room in like 30 seconds. We're through the dip room. Into the dip mix room. This is where we were I just said, oh my God, like 20 seconds ago from that spot. Just 20 seconds ago. There's the danger keep out door, and we're walking straight on. We are walking straight on. There were 6 people in this queue. Holy heck. I am scarcely able to understand or describe or to really fully appreciate what is happening. It's just dead. And I just saw some lightning link guys. I shouldn't.
Here you go! Time for a nice speed! Holy smokes, Roger! Let come of me, yeah! One down and 1 to go. Get me right.
What an absolute delight. This is the day, by the way. This is the day when you try to do the Every Ride Challenge. I gotta remember that. When I do this next year, we're gonna recalibrate the calendar. We'll reset the calendar for the week after Halloween. That's the day you do the Every Ride Challenge. And, by the way, we're gonna add DCA. We're gonna drop the Frontierland Challenge, which we couldn't do this month because, well, not this year really, because so much of Frontierland is down because the Mark Twain and the Columbia and the Shooting Exposition. So I actually did a rope drop challenge, which think you may have seen. I'm not sure if that video came out already, but that was really fun. Yeah, we'll do a DCA every ride challenge next year. Meanwhile, next door, Runaway Railway is posted at 20. Okay, I think it's, yeah, okay, we'll see how far this goes. I guess we're gonna get all the way to the screening room. We won't stop until we get to the screening room. Through all the prop rooms and the concession room, and then we'll have to wait at the screening room. Prop room 1. Prop room 2 with the Jack and the Beanstalk vine that is supposed to be growing out of the top of the building, which they never finished, which I'll show you when we get out of here. I was really disappointed because I thought they were going to do that. I am kind of shocked. Prop room 3, back at the queues. I was way off. It's not very often this happens. Prop room 3 is the back of the queue, and they're calling this 20. That actually might be a legitimate 20-minute wait to the screening room. Whoa. To the screening room, not to the vehicle. It'll probably take longer than that. I'm guessing because the screening, the film, and the waiting in the room after that, that alone is always going to be like maybe 7 or 8 minutes. So I guess you could get to the screening room in 12 minutes at that point, as long as there's no lightning lane, which, I mean, there shouldn't be. About that Jack and the Beanstalk vine, there was when they were redoing Toontown a while back, when they were fixing that, where they had the sinkhole back there, when they were redoing this, they were also redoing something on top of this building here, the Runaway Railway building. I thought maybe they were putting in the Beanstalk coming out of the top of that building, right where that was. But instead, what we have is just that painted on Beanstalk that's running, you know, up by the El Capitan sign. There was concept art. That's why I thought they were doing it. There was concept art that showed the Beanstalk growing out of the building like that. But what we got instead was just that painted Beanstalk. And I thought maybe they were gonna, you know, finish the job. And nah, they didn't. Such a shame, because that would have been a cool follow through on that visual bit when you go through prop room 2. Toontown, by the way, is also still very, very chill here. It is not as busy as it usually is. The crowd situation has extended here. Minnie's is light, but still pretty long. That guy would not want to be sitting in that queue. I'll say that. You know what I would love to do, though? I would love to go into Mickey's house for a minute, maybe 15 of them. That's to meet Mickey. But I just want to be in that AC. You don't know it, but it's about to get a whole lot better in here. Oh boy, where are we at? Oh, it went down a degree. It's 94 right now. Okay. Whew. Will we meet any resistance in here? There's a little bit. I think, I mean, with the 15-minute post, we should get all the way to the Mickey room. But I do think I want to stop and say hi to the gophers because it's the coolest part of the entire room. I don't mean the effect, I mean it's actually literally the coolest, lowest temperature, but it looks like everybody else is doing the same thing. Everybody stopped here. There he goes. Look, the carrots are coming back. Gopher's already been around. Oh, I can hear him now. He took him again. Oh, that crazy gopher. Okay, guys, we're gonna build Mickey's set, Mickey's barn, Mickey's house, and in his house he's gonna have a set. That's where he films all his best Mickey shorts. Donald will be here too, he'll do some painting. We'll show the films. But we need some chickens. This room won't be complete without the chickens. Back in the queue, it's actually longer than the 15 minutes. That's a good size wait. It's a good choice though. Meeting Mickey Mouse today, good choice. You get to hang out in there for a little while, and you get to meet Mickey, and he's often in his, Steamboat Willie, I think it is, Steamboat Willie costume. I don't know if he's still doing that one or not. Gadgets is posted at 5. I see nobody, I see no people. Where are they? I see nobody at Chip's butt. I see nobody at the Frog's butt. I don't even see a vehicle on the track. Oh, hi guys, thank you. They are running, I think. Oh, there we go. I found some guests, there we are. The back of the queue is right at that lamppost up there. So you're looking at about maybe 5-8 minutes. Surely the Matterhorn is busy, right? Surely the Matterhorn is still a popular attraction today. And oh my God. I keep taking photos trying to figure out what my thumbnail is gonna be. This might be the winner. Oh my God. It's a 5-minute postal wait, and Ride a Tree doesn't even begin to describe it. Normally I say if you can get the back of the queue to be Ride a Tree, you're in good shape. This tree that I'm looking at right here, if you can get in this lane, if that's the back of the queue, it's a go situation automatic. The back of the queue is in the freaking cover. This can't even be real. I could just do this. I did that. There's no way this is precedented. This is unprecedented. The opposite of precedented. I'm in the queue for Matterhorn. I have no business being in this queue today. And I didn't even have to wait in that. He singled me and he said, just go. He pulled me out, which they do that sometimes if they have a gap. I'm already in. That was maybe a minute and a half, maybe, and that's our boat right there.
Hands, arms, and legs inside the box.
I missed it, but that vehicle back there on the right, that's right there on there. They just took that one offline. They're taking bobsleds off the track. Like normally it's the case when you see them working vehicles like that, they're bringing them on because it's getting so easy. But this time, I've never done this before. This time, they were taking the bobsled off the track. It's dead. And I asked him, is that why you're taking it off? He's like, yeah, man, you just walked on. Why do I need more bobsled? Oh my God. I can't even. Oh my God. That horse is amazing. I don't think I've ever filmed that in selfie mode before. That is an entirely different experience. Let me just tell you.
Remain seated, please.
I got you.
Permanecer sentados, por favor.
That one right there. I was sitting next to it, and he pulled that one off. So now they're running. He said they're running 8 now instead of 9. I think that's what he said. 9 instead of 8, or was it 7 instead of 8? I don't remember. Cast members, maybe you can check, but that means that they run that many at a time. Guys, that's how efficient operations here are at Disneyland. They can run 8 bobsleds. 9. Yeah, no. Yeah, well, 8 or 9, I can't remember. Either way, can you imagine? I mean, there's 2 tracks, right? So that helps. So 4 or 5 on the tracks, or 3 or 4, no, 4 or 5, yeah, at a time on each track. Still the case. I want to go back and look. I just want to see. Is there any chance that queue is still, if they're still walking right on? No, okay. So they chained oh my gosh. Got so bad that they chained everything off. They chained off Ride of Tree. So they were sending guests directly in where we went in. So now they're getting into wild space. So now they're going to have to grow left of Tree inbound. They're going to have to grow that one and send guests in that direction. Still damn near a walk-on though. Man, this is incredible. Anyway, so I didn't even get to talk about the fact that we did Roger Rabbit considerably faster. Basically 4 minutes faster than Snow White. Snow White had a longer wait than Roger Rabbit. That almost seems impossible when you think about it, but that's the effect of Lightning Lane. Lightning Lane sort of bastardizes the true experience on these rides. It turns what would be like a walk-on type attraction like Monsters Inc. or Roger Rabbit into a slog because everybody's using Lightning Lane, whereas nobody ever does on Snow White. So the wait you have on Snow White is pretty consistent. It's always the same because there's no Lightning Lane. But because there's Lightning Lane in Roger Rabbit and Monsters Inc., if they took Lightning Lane off Monsters Inc., that thing would run like butter. It would run like Snow White would. Nobody getting in that Nemo queue, which makes perfect sense. More of those open spaces. Monorail's closed, by the way. That's a thing. It's too hot for the monorail. Expect that. That's common. More open space. Oh, look. Guests. More open space. Too hot for Disneyland, man. Well, for the locals, I guess. The people coming in from out of town, that's pretty much who's here, I would imagine. And psychos like me. But yeah, the locals, the day visitors, etc., they're probably just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna cancel, and I'm just gonna not go today. Look at this situation here. We've arrived at Autopia, and it's comical. It's comical what's happening here at Autopia. They're running one lane. One lane of cars, closed. Lane 2 is the only functioning lane, and the queue is still. They're not even running. They're not even sending them to the other steps. That's so crazy. So it's actually created a wait. They've actually created a standby wait here by shutting down 3 lanes. You have to wait. This is not a go. I wonder how long this will take. Because you're going to get what? One. I don't know how many cars there are. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, there's 8 spots, right? So 2 guests per car maximum. That's 16 guests, and it takes, well, considering there's only the one lane, how long would it take you to drive all the way around, right? How many sets are out there? Boy, that's a question that I would like to figure out. Maybe I could find out someday. How many sets of 8 are there in each lane out there? Because they don't merge at all. They all get their own lane throughout the whole track, so you could just fill this place up with vehicles, which is one of those things people talk about how big a space this is and how useful it can be for other attractions for capacity. But Autopia is a huge capacity attraction. There's 4 lanes of traffic, and every one of them is full with, in groups of 16. I can see another group back there. The next group is waiting. As soon as this one is done, right, there goes that one. This is the last vehicle on this group. There comes the next group. So the next group of 16 gets to go. So what is that? Maybe 45 seconds in between sets? I don't know what the load-unload time is. We can figure that out. We'll just stand by here and we'll do a little recon while we have the moment. We started this clock basically when they were resetting. And then later on, we'll just figure out how many groups of 16 are here. 1, 2, 3, maybe 2 or 3 sets, 3 rotations. That's maybe 3 rotations. Probably 3, right? So where we're at 42 seconds since we started this clock. Guests are still parking. People, okay, some of the guests are getting out and in. Quick like a rabbit. 57 seconds. Last group is getting in. Some get in a little slower than others because of, families, etc. So while these guys are ready, we're gonna stand by 1 minute, 15 seconds. Check your seatbelts. And meanwhile, we can see again while these guys, there's another group right behind them waiting. So it seems like it would take a while, right? It seems like they're not getting a lot done here, but they're getting a lot done. And now if this is running at full capacity, imagine that in 4 different lanes. That's so much capacity. And okay, there goes the lead car. Lead car just took off. We're at 1 minute, 47 seconds. And I'm gonna stop the clock once the last car is going and the first car is coming in. And what? Okay, there we go. So 2 minutes. Basically, that's a 2-minute cycle. 3 groups here, 3 groups waiting. At 2 minutes each, you're in your vehicle in 6 minutes. That's easy to do when there's just 1 lane. Impossible to do. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Well, it'd be difficult to count how many groups you think there were. You would just multiply it by how many lanes are open, right? So you would, instead of looking for groups of 16, you'd be looking groups of 32 or 48 or 64, depending if there's 2, 3, or 4 lanes open, which is really difficult to do. I don't know if I can count 64 guests and then guess, but that's Autopia. That's the Autopia math. 2-minute cycle, 2 minutes. Now, I teased earlier that we have some things to talk about with regard to Tomorrowland, D23, the announcement that was made. The announcement, which upon reflection, after having spent more than a week thinking about it, my opinion of that announcement has changed a bit. So we're gonna go do a little recon here at Space Mountain and then take a look at Tomorrowland from the sky, which by the way is absolutely desolate. Anyway, we'll take a look from the sky and give you some quick thoughts on what I think the announcement might mean. God in heaven. It is the middle of the afternoon, 3:04, and that's a posted 20-minute wait time. Can you guys see that? Can you believe it? Still 20 minutes. I'm still double checking. I don't know what to do, man. By the way, it has now reached 98. Just hit 98. I gotta say, it's a pleasant 98. I've actually maintained, I remember we did this, we had a day like this at DCA a couple years ago, and my memory of that day is that it was considerably hotter feeling on me. And I had more, I've been taking a lot of breaks. I have also gone through 5 of these. So that helps. Let's see what's going on here at Space Mountain. I mean, obviously we're expecting to find a very light queue here. There is a group at the door, so that's something. But the rest oh my gosh, it is empty in here. Wow. Okay, I promised a conversation about Tomorrowland and D23. At the very end of the show, after about 2.5 hours, Thomas Maslam said, we owe it to you guys to make Disneyland the original park, the best park it can be. Sorry, I'm winded, it's 98 degrees. The best park it could be. We want to make something that you guys love, etc. We want to listen to the fans, listen to the super fans. It all starts at Tomorrowland. That's what he said. It all starts at Tomorrowland, and then he didn't say anything else. So we all assumed, obviously, that they're talking about Tomorrowland, the new Tomorrowland, something we've been asking for I don't know, 13 years now since I've been doing this show, and it was very exciting. Not going to lie. Nobody saw it coming because everybody assumed they wouldn't be talking about it because they've been avoiding it for more than a decade. But he said it. And I actually probably going to do a full-on Fresh Baked Presents video on this topic, by the way, before I continue. We did one on Avatar, and hopefully you guys saw that. But there's some things to read between the lines on. And I will say at the outset that I'm not optimistic that it's going to be what people want it to be, like a new Tomorrowland. I think it's going to be just a bunch of reskins for the most part. I don't think we're going to lose much. As a matter of fact, let's talk about what we're going to lose. Art that they included with that announcement was of Space Mountain, and behind Space Mountain, they had a monorail running behind it, which is great, which means those 2 attractions are going to stick around. But Maslam said, new attractions and new or more open spaces. New attractions, that could just be a reskin of Buzz Lightyear, Star Tours, that kind of thing. But what does more open spaces mean? Look out there and tell me what you think. So you can't create more open spaces or add anything without subtracting. Tomorrowland is too small a space. It's big by Disneyland standards, but there's no place to put anything new. We don't have a backstage area like they did for Tron, right? So they don't have that space. Or Tron, I mean over at Magic Kingdom. So open spaces, that thing right there, and that thing right there. That's where you get your open spaces. Now, whether or not they're going to take those out and not replace them with anything is another question. At first I thought they might bring back Carousel of Progress and just put it back, because they were leaning hard. They've been leaning hard into nostalgia. We're getting a new Carousel of Progress at Magic Kingdom. They're updating Spaceship Earth, more nostalgia. Over in Paris, they're reverting back to the old version of Space Mountain at Disneyland Paris. Everywhere you look, they're leaning into nostalgia. They're leaning in Figment, Dreamfinder. They're bringing back Dreamfinder, right? So they really want to hit us on the nostalgia button. So it would make sense to me that they would bring back Carousel of Progress and put it back in there, which I would be happy if they did. And they could do it. It needs repair. That thing doesn't spin anymore. It stopped spinning a long time ago, but they could probably fix that. But one thing that I thought about since that announcement that has changed my opinion on open spaces and what might go, certainly that's going. Certainly that's gone. And I don't think it's going to be replaced by anything new. That's the open space. People Mover's not coming back. Say that again. People Mover is not coming back, as bad as we want it to. And even if them saying new Tomorrowland, that still doesn't mean People Mover is coming back. The People Mover is only going to come back, and I've been saying this for years and years and years. The only way we get a People Mover back is if they tear this thing down and build it from new. They build a new one. They got to demo this whole thing, but they're not going to do that. They're not demoing this place, I promise you. There's a video out there, though, when they probably first started talking about redoing Tomorrowland. There's a video out there of the Imagineering, and I think it was Joe Rohde, and they had a giant model of Tomorrowland as it exists today. And he literally picked up that building, picked it up and took it out, as if to say, what does this look like without that building in there? He picks up Launch Bay, like, trying to see how it would look with Launch Bay gone.
With Launch Bay gone. Is that how the episode closes?
Very near the end, yes.
Yeah,
it's like
feels like it.
and that scene of him doing that is also delivered in the context of him talking about the intersection of art and business and how it's difficult for those two camps to get along. So he's having this conversation. He's like, gosh darn, it sucks to be an Imagineer in this world because they keep trying to keep us down. They got budgets and they got other agendas.
Right.
We're trying to build something great, big, and beautiful. While he's saying this, he's taking out Launch Bay. This is a project that's been talked about and discussed, I'm sure, for longer than that 10 or 12 years that I've been, following this discussion. So when I see him do that, that's something that's in their thought process, right? That's in their thought process for a while, has been, and it always will be, I think. And so I actually put a lot of weight, a lot of credibility into that move by Joe Rohde and the Innovations building. It makes sense. That's for the space, because you can't put a ride there. It's not enough space to keep Autopia, which I think they will. I think they're going to keep Autopia. It's not enough space to do that, and you can't replace that building with a new ride. Not modern rides. They don't make anything that isn't 45 acres big anymore. They just don't. They don't make small rides anymore, and that's a small ride. That's a small building as a ride building. I don't know. I'll have to look and find out how many Innovations buildings could you fit in the Rise of the Resistance show building, right? In any case, so that's certainly that's going to go, the People Mover thing, and then I think that's it as far as open spaces go. And I don't think they're going to do much else. They're probably, new rides is probably going to be a reskin for Buzz Lightyear, and I don't even know if you could do anything with Star Tours. Star Tours is too small also. So I don't know. You could fit a small ride in here, perhaps, but that's about it. He did say rides, though. Rides. So not just one, but two rides. So while I was having that discussion, the queue did pick up a little bit. It looks worse than it is still because they got to do some queue maintenance, but I just wanted to pop in here real quick before we leave. So it's just the one, they're not using any of that down there on the left. They're still only doing one switch there, one straight line here, and one straight line there. So they've just filled in what was available already. So it's gotten a little bit busier in here, but man, that was dead. If we can just get a break from this heat in time before maybe next week or so, but I think the heat is supposed to remain for a little while at least. God, it's 98. Let me see. Get this out in the Woo style. Yeah, so just looking at my phone, because I don't know why I can't take a picture. It's gonna be down to 84 on Sunday, 80 on Monday. So we should be in good shape by then. And that'll be, we'll get a much better reading on the crowds, because this is just unmeasurable. This is just unmeasurable. Star Tour's dead. I don't even have to measure it. There's nobody out there. You're walking straight onto Star Tours. You're walking straight onto Buzz Lightyear. Look at that, they're turning right into the door. You guys, my God in heaven. Right into the door. Boom, look at that, empty. Not a single guest in sight. Not a single guest in sight at Buzz Lightyear. Not a single guest in sight at Astro Orbiter, in the queue proper anyway. There's a group in the bullpen, which is good, I guess. You gotta have that at least. Never mind rainy days, fresh baked. Never mind January or February. I'll say it again, come to Disneyland on a hot day in August and you will have the whole park at your fingertips. Oh, there's a breeze. See that? There's a breeze coming. That's gonna make all the difference. Where's it at now? It was 98 last we checked. Yeah, still 98. You just feel like one side of your face, actually it's this side. It's this side. You can feel the sun's right there on top of us and it's just hitting you, punching you in the face with bright rays of sun. And every surface that isn't covered by shade, every surface is just, you can just feel the heat coming off of that. I could feel the heat bouncing up off the cement here, even off this wood. Anything metal, stay the hell away from that. And there it is. The last attraction of the day, Big Thunder, 10 minutes, nobody out here. Obviously, I mean, that's not a surprise, right? People are just walking right on. We won't even see the back of the queue. No matter how hard we look, we will not see the back of the queue. I could walk all the way through this thing. Certainly it's not down there anywhere. It's around the corner somewhere. And I do see people, oh my gosh. Yeah, the top deck, people are just walking freely. Do you guys see that? It looks to me like people are walking freely up the stairs. There's no resistance out there at all. I just saw somebody come up the stairs directly and just go right into a queue spot. See, do you see? Do you see? Incredible. It's that. Thank the maker. We have made it to the end. I'm going to be careful not to touch anything. We've made it to the end here. Oh, with the Mark Twain. That would be a delight right now, feeling that, although the top deck is closed. It's not Disneyland, you guys. It's the heat. And this week, it's definitely 98 degrees is enough to make people stay home. 88, we can do that. 98, no. It's a full 10 degrees hotter than it was, maybe even more, when I was asking that question before. So come to Disneyland in the August after Halloween for one of the craziest, slowest days I think I've ever experienced. I'm pretty sure we did a video like this not long ago. Matter of fact, it was a year ago. Yeah, where I'm pretty sure this is slower than that day. This is the slowest non-rainy day, like super duper outlayer type situation. It's just a regular day at Disneyland when it should be busy. The holidays are here, but it's just too hot. Slowest day I've ever seen. Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh baked.